Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Thetis for this, our final episode in our Dragon Age Rebellion Flights of Fandom. Yay! As I would say always, as for the last 3 weeks, I am your game master for this here flight, your mixologist for this flight. My name is Liza. I use she, her pronouns. And you can find me around the internet and here on Manapot as Darling Archer. And now, as we head into the thrilling conclusion of our thrilling adventure, let's meet our cast. Starting up in the top with Marcy.
Hello, it's me, Marcy, aka Experimental Madness. I'm super psyched to be still in it for this flight. Wow, my just can I take it again? No.
Start from the top. Let's go.
No, that's the energy that I'm bringing to the table right now. It's a holiday week, y'all. What do you want from me? When I'm not being a total dork, I am playing Eva Morin for you guys tonight, as I have the past 3 weeks. I'm very excited to see what happens with this spy girl.
Lovely. And dropping on down to Caitlin.
I'm Caitlin Starling. I am playing Aelana tonight. I am the author of such books as The Luminous Dead and Yellow Jessamine, and soon to be The Death of Jane Lawrence. And you can find me on Twitter at CSEE_Starling, and I use she, her pronouns.
Wondrous. Let's jump right on across to Hopper.
Tis I, Hopper. I use they, them pronouns, and I can be found, $5. I can be found on the interwebs at Fail Deadly. That's with a 3 instead of an E, because I'm a bad person. And I can also be found at the Legend Tree, where I produce RPG related and, writing related content.
Who are you playing for us tonight?
I am playing Fiak on Skaith, the Avar, recently widowed Avar, who is out for all the murder.
All of the murder. Well, save some of it for everyone else. Last... No. Not at this rate. Last but certainly not least, Wesley.
Hi, I'm Wesley. Any pronouns will do. You can find me around the internet as Horniest Lobster. Marcy. And tonight I will be, finishing up playing Joy Kent, the guy.
Sorry, let me just quickly change that on the overlay to just the guy.
The guy. Yeah, the dude with the spear.
The old guy, right?
Our intrepid heroes have found themselves in a bit of a unique Theodosian pickle. They are currently battling it out in the Fade. Having, in the course of their surveillance duties for the rebellion, discovered a strange letter containing a cryptic riddle. They then took this information and a wayward mage back to their superiors in Redcliffe, only to find that their superiors were too busy to learn more. Because Princess Moira, the last great hope of the Theron line and last great hope for freedom for Ferelden, was missing. Deciding to follow up on the information they had found, as well as a strange magical sense that Aelana was getting, they journeyed away from Redcliffe and into the hinterlands, eventually making their way through Lady Shayna's Valley and to a mysterious arch on the Blood Cliffs over Lake Calenhad. Using some veil fire, they made their way into a hidden cave, which they deduced to be the tomb of Lady Shayna, who... Oh, sorry, my brain totally shorted out for one quick second there.
It's not just me.
Yay! Who Aolana had spoken with briefly in the Fade, or had spoken with a spirit that thought it was Lady Shayna. You know how spirits in the Fade are. As they entered the tomb, they saw that a magic ritual was underway. A blood mage had slaughtered a number of guards, and within a magical circle pulsing with vile blood magic were the collapsed figures of an Orlesian woman in an ornate lion mask, and a woman that some of them recognized as the young Princess Moira. Realizing that to disrupt this magic ritual would send both women into the Fade forever, they instead decided to go into the Fade themselves. Aolana escorted the group, but had a bit of a fumble, and before they could successfully confront whoever this woman is and rescue the princess, they had to fight their way through some trials and tribulations of their own deepest fears. Now, having just squared off with a massive lion that turned out to be this Orlesian woman and saved Princess Moira from bleeding out, they are sort of standing face to face with their enemy.
Face to Fade.
Face to Fade. Ooh, I should call the episode that. All right. Let's see. I need some more exciting music here.
It's okay. Somebody just drove past blasting 80s music.
I mean, hey, mood. All right. So, I believe it was Fiak who got the final slash in on the lion. So you cut through this massively oversized lion, and sort of spilling out from within it and its outer skin carapace just sort of dissolving into the mist of the Fade. A figure with drawn daggers goes kind of somersaulting backwards as we see this sort of sandy ground pit of a fighting arena. The multiple stair steps for a crowd are sort of slightly rotating and floating. They're not completely connected. This is the Fade. The sky sparks with green energy, and distantly you can make out the hovering and omnipresent shape of the Black City. Behind this Orlesian woman whose mask has fallen off, revealing a young, beautiful face with pale skin and golden hair, and an expression contorted with rage. The four of you are arrayed in various places. I believe both Aolana is crouching next to the form of Princess Moira. Eva is hopping about in the stands in a roguelike manner. And our two fighters are down in the pit with the lioness. Behind her, there is also a sort of small viewing box that has sort of three glowing figures in it, which Aolana, if you will recall, you identified as all being manifestations of a single powerful spirit. This woman has drawn both of her daggers and just starts kind of edging backwards towards the box, looking at all of you, but mostly at Fiak and Joy, who are the closest and presenting the biggest threat. She goes, "How dare you? You Ferelden dogs think that you can stop me? I am Varen Valmont, rightful Empress of Orlais. The Mad Emperor could not kill me, and neither will you." And for a moment, she kind of turns behind her, kind of not seeming to want to take her eyes off of you, but also turning towards the spirit, and continuing to back towards it. And she says, "We had a deal. We had rules. I won. Now give me what is mine." And she holds out her hand. You can see that the spirit, which appears, at least in one of its incarnations, to be a very large human-looking male figure clad in shining silver armor and bearing a shining silver sword. There is this sort of flickering impression of a crown on his head, and as she reaches back, the figure begins to extend the sword.
Can I, from the stand, I still have my bow out. Is there any way I could fire an arrow to like knock the sword away?
Yeah, you can certainly try. Go ahead and make me that arrow shot.
Not bad, not bad. Okay. Math. That's gonna be a 19.
Okay, well, that is on my little chart here. It says that would beat an impossible rating. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Eva, as you're listening to Varen making her dramatic monologue, she reaches towards the sword and is about to grab it when your arrow impacts the blade and it goes jangling across the sand, burning brightly. I think we'll say from the angle you're at, it gets knocked in front of Varen, and kind of between her and Joy and Fiak. And then Aolana, you're a little bit further back. What are the rest of you doing?
Taking a look at that. Fiok is taking a look at that spirit, keeping an eyeball on that thing.
Sure. You can make me. What are you trying to ascertain? Are you trying to like figure out what it is? Are you trying to figure out its intentions? What are you going for here?
The second one, please.
Okay, make me an empathy test. I believe that is perception.
Yes, that is the very large, angry lady with the battle axes strong suit. It's not awful. It's an 11.
Okay.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm doing the math on that right. Yes, that's an 11.
All right. So, I think what you glean from that is it's clearly some sort of spirit. You're not sure if there's more than one spirit back there or not. But you can sort of feel the tower of Varen's will. She's clearly very proud. Despite the fact that you just defeated her, at least in one form, she does not necessarily seem very afraid, or at least not outwardly. And the spirit, you can kind of see behind her, it's almost looks kind of like it's bubbling. What that means, you're not 100% sure.
Well, the fear thing, I can fix that.
Joy, what are you doing?
Joy has his eyes on the sword.
You see a sword. It is shining. Sorry. It is shining as if lit from within. The glow is at first sort of a soft and silvery gold. And you see that kind of after her moment of kind of panic and fear subsides, and like the little kind of tiny dribble of blood from where the arrow just nicked the side of her hand, knocking the sword out of it, Varen has started sort of like lunging. This is all in sort of bullet time. Varen is lunging forward for it.
I guess if Joy, I feel like it's safe to say Joy clearly would understand that her getting that would probably not be the best thing in the world. I think he'll try to react and beat her to it.
Absolutely. One other thing that I will tell you, Fiak, is just that the sword and the spirit are glowing with sort of exactly the same color. And as the spirit is sort of bubbling, the sword is sort of rippling with shadow. I think that would be another thing you would notice. Again, what it means, I don't think you know. We will roll for you in just a second, Joy. Aolana, is
Sure.
there anything that you are doing in this moment?
So I stabilized Moira last time, right? So she's not
Yes.
getting any worse.
She appears, at least her fade body seems physically fine. There's clearly still something wrong with her. You can try and ascertain what that is.
Yeah, I think Aelana's main priority right now is seeing if it would be possible to get her out of the fade and out of the immediate danger. So yeah, I think she's going to try and diagnose what the problem is.
Okay, in that case, you can make me a magic roll.
Spirit.
I would say you can use either spirit or blood magic.
Okay.
I'm assuming you didn't take blood magic as a special.
No, I took spirit.
Otherwise,
Alright.
I think Eva might have some words for you.
Does a 22 do it for you?
Damn, girl! Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Yeah, I think with that, you can kind of see, whatever is happening to her, you get the sense that part of it is this place in the Fade is a construction, is a magical ritual unto itself. Like, whatever that mage did that sent them into the Fade summoned this trial into being. And you get the sense that Moira lost. And whatever is afflicting her is a consequence of her having lost this trial. And also that maybe the blood mage on the other side seems to have realized that something is wrong. And you get the sense might be drawing on Moira physically. Which may be affecting her mind here.
There's no way to sever that connection.
You could try to push her back into her body, but you wouldn't be there to protect her from the blood mage.
Right. Okay.
I
We
would
need to talk.
say I would allow, with that roll, you think you might be able to like cast some sort of spell shield on her and just sort of force that through to protect her temporarily. That's not traditionally how that spell is used, but
Yeah, it's usually only on yourself.
yeah,
correct?
but I would let you attempt it just based on sort of how strong of a reading you got on this.
Sure.
All right, so in the next round of action, we will totally
Okay.
get to that. In the meantime,
Okay.
Joy, what is your speed?
My speed is 10.
Okay, Varena's a little faster than you are because she's also not wearing super heavy armor. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you make. I think this would be a dexterity check just to get there sooner than her.
What do you think a running check would
Oh,
apply
actually,
here?
yeah, fucking Constitution running. Yeah, I'm gonna let her make it as a dexterity check though.
Sure, sure.
As an acrobatics check.
Yeah, I dropped the die.
No.
You know what? Here we go. Okay. Now for the fun part. Math. 21.
Damn, you guys are. I rolled an 11. So yeah, she's kind of going for it, and you just arms pumping, kicking up fade sand like it's nothing. You dive for it, and she just kind of falls short a little bit, and you grab your hand onto the sword. I need you to
Oh,
make
boy.
a willpower test. I would accept either courage or self-discipline as focuses.
Okay. Well, I don't have any of those, but I do have okay willpower, so we'll see. No, I didn't get this far in the thought process of going for the sword. But it makes a lot of sense. Okay. 14.
Okay. I think what you feel is that the sword is alive. And in that moment, I think you can sense that this isn't a sword, necessarily. It is, and it isn't.
Okay.
You get a sense that it is also the spirit. And you are flooded with a sense of questioning. And you feel a question, you feel a voice. And it asks you, what hope do you hold?
To save the hope to save the princess, right? Yeah, princess. The hope to save the princess.
You feel approval.
I'll take it.
I think, Joy, in this moment, you feel a certain strange sense. Because I think you have been around people who use magic long enough to know that the Fade, things in the Fade are not fixed. You know, Aolana just gave you guys this warning recently, but holding this sword in your hand, you realize it's raw power. And when you say, you know, I hope to save the princess, you kind of feel that intention travel down your arm and into the blade. And it begins to shine a little more brightly golden. A little bit of that tracery of shadow begins to fade off of it. Sort of like oil dripping and flowing away in water. But you also just get this niggling voice in the back of your head that says, you don't have to use it for that. With this power, you could do anything you wanted. You could walk back into the working world and punish anyone who ever crossed you. All of you see Joy holding this sword, and you see it begin to glow, and you see the glow kind of travel through his veins up to his eyes, which just begin glowing as he's just sort of frozen there for a moment, kind of grappling with this entity. Although none of you, I think, would know what is going on internally in his mind. I think all the other three of you, maybe mostly just Fiak and Eva, since Aolana, you're pretty focused on the princess at the moment. But the two of you see Varen flip her daggers around, kind of roll back to a stop, and just run to leap onto Joy's back.
Can I fire another arrow?
Yes.
I'm just standing in the bleachers taking pot shots.
That's totally fine. I just want to get everyone's intentions, and then we'll go in a little
For sure.
order. Fiak, what are you planning to do?
Objecting to that line of action. Your Honor, I object. She's jumping in midair.
Yeah, she's doing a cool flip. She's
I'm
gonna
pretty
stab
close to
him
Joy.
with both of her daggers.
Cool. That sounds like, I don't know, she's setting herself up for a yeetin'.
That's how you get out.
That's yeah. I shall ute you.
It's Jotunheim now,
Scoundrel.
baby.
Yeah, so I think, Aolana, what are you planning to do in this sort of round, if you will?
Aelana's pretty fully focused on getting this the spell shield set up. She's remembering a couple papers that she's read and kind of all coalescing in her mind. She hasn't actually ever tried this before, though, so we'll see how it goes.
So we are going to go ahead and go magic missiles melee, just for ease instead of making you guys roll. So Aolana, go ahead and roll to cast spell shield.
Okay.
I am going to up the target number by 2, since you are not casting it on yourself.
So that'll make the target number 15. $21.
Oh my god.
And I stunted.
So what are you doing with them there stunts?
Let me check my stunt table.
Wow, the dice heard it was a finale tonight.
No, seriously, this is intense, y'all.
And I feel the maker in this stream tonight.
I love the extra suspense because we're all horrible at arithmetic. It really adds to
doing
it.
that for effect.
No, I
I
cannot.
regularly
add.
roll immense numbers of dice and add them up with great rapidity, and then like you give me 3d6, and I'm like, "Wah!"
I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to decrease the MP cost on that.
Absolutely.
Just in case.
Yeah, I think you feel, and at this point you start seeing popping into existence in this arena just spirits. And I think, Aolana, you can feel them sort of in sympathy with what you're doing, lending power to the casting of this spell.
Neato. So normally, spell shield. Let me do the subtraction here first. It lasts for 5 rounds. I don't know if we want to modify that, since obviously the upkeep would be potentially more challenging.
I think because technically also it takes time to push somebody out of the fade. So we'll say that protection is going on as you're also sort of like concentrating and moving her back into her body.
So what this will do is any spells that have any effect on her, healing or damage or anything else, won't. But I need to know how much MP that those spells take to cost on a base level with no modifiers whatsoever, because it drains me to keep them at bay.
Good to know. I will tell you that.
I'm gonna double check this. I believe I think normally I can act as I want during that 5-round upkeep, but since I'm focusing, probably limited somewhat to what I can do.
Okay, good to know.
And if I hit 0 MP, the shield fails before 5 rounds, but otherwise it doesn't fail. Just keeps draining my power.
Oh boy.
Don't worry, I added 11 MP to my pool between last session and this session. Should be fine.
Good thing too.
All right, cool. I'll keep that in mind at the start of the next one. I think definitely you immediately feel feedback through this. Like, you can feel, it feels like somebody is just trying to, like, suck the life from you. Basically through Moira as a conduit. And as the shield kind of wraps around her, you see her eyes start to sort of blink open, this sort of pale, freckled, blonde teen girl, kind of blinking back to wakefulness, despite the fact that we're in the fade. I don't know. Awareness.
Lucidity.
Lucidity. Very nice. Okay, so that was magic missiles.
So
Roll.
I've been taking a lot of pot shots during the last fight and this, and I think I'm seeing like some of these spirits and these magic things emerging. I don't like it, but I have to focus on one crisis at a time. And the minute I see that the princess is under attack, I ready another shot, and I just, it's sort of like, I don't think so, and I just fire it off.
Absolutely. She does know that you're there now.
True, I don't get any
Yeah.
stealth. I have to be we have to be adjacent to each other in order for this to work anyway. And
Okay, cool.
like, So I wasn't counting on the backstab.
Yeah.
Dope numbers. My goodness. 2 5s and a 4.
Nice. That's some stunts.
That's a 20.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
That will be a 4 on my dragon dice. Oh no, I have to pull up the stunt sheet. I don't know why I didn't do that.
It's all good.
I will find it in just a second.
You could rapid reload and make another attack against her.
I'd love to. I was either going to do that or a more lethal attack.
Yeah, you could also
I don't think I can
do Mighty Blow.
I want to take the second shot.
Do it. Yeah, you'll need to use your remaining thing to rapid reload in order to do that, but that's no problem.
Sure.
So yeah.
It'll spare me some time trying to find that. Here comes the second. That's funny because I was going to say for flavor, I want to load 2 arrows in there.
Hell yeah.
It looks cool.
It's
all right.
bullshit.
Okay. 5, 10, 16, and 18.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to roll the 2d6 then. For the damage of both of those.
Yeah.
There's nothing that special about either one for the damage.
No,
so.
I'll just add her armor bonus twice.
Yeah. 11 points of damage.
All right. Yeah, it's not quite as effective. Some of it catches on her leather armor. But she is definitely somewhat hurt by this. And next is going to be melee. She's going to go before you, Fiak, because she has a higher dexterity.
Does she?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Mine's 4 now.
Yeah, so's hers. She's a rogue, my friend.
Rude.
I figured with the jumping and the daggers.
Jumping and the daggers and the being Orlesian.
Yeah.
And the being Orlesian.
Automatically sus.
Oof, not grand though. I've rolled this specific combination of numbers on the exact same dice now twice in a row, which is not great.
The gods do not smile upon you.
15, does that hit your defense, Joy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right. No stunts, unfortunately.
I mean, I like that.
And only 5 points of damage. Oh no, sorry. Yes. 5 points of damage.
She cuts a hair off.
Yeah, I think she lands. Only one of her daggers kind of gets a little nick in on your neck. I think probably because this is right as Fiak's coming in. Go for it, Fiak.
Yeah.
Wreck her shop.
Yeah. Oh. You set me up. Ooh. Okay. That hasn't changed because I wasn't allowed to put any more points in strength. So that's 6 + 6 + 7. So
Yeah, that'll
19.
do it.
And that is 2 3s and a 6 and a 6 on the dragon dice. Which okay. Okay, so the 19 hits, yes?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I can do Mighty Blow for 1 stunt point now. So I'll
You sure
definitely do
can.
that. I also, because 2-weapon master, I can, or 2-weapon journeyman, 2-handed journeyman, I can yeet her at 2 yards in any one direction,
Yes,
which I'll do
and
at the
I
end of
believe
this.
as we discovered, you can do both mighty and lethal blow on the same attack if you have 6 stunt points because you're a monster.
Yes. I'll probably just do that.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Why not? That's what, 5d6?
No. It's 66.
Oh,
Yes, it
excuse
is.
me.
All right, I guess I'm just gonna do that because that's hard. It's really hard to resist that.
I am the rightful ruler of Orlais, and I'm now a pancake.
And now I have been bisected. The rolls weren't
Non-lethally cleft in twain.
yeah, I mean, not my finest rolls. That is 3 threes, so 9, 6, 15, 17.
Ooh, still a hefty chunk.
And then I'd like to launch her 2 yards away from Joy, and if possible, Fiok wants to get between Joy and this real annoying frog.
Yeah, so she runs up behind Joy, who's kind of grabbing the sword, his eyes aglow. She leaps.
That's a problem for somebody else.
She leaps, the arrow impacts, knocking her dagger slightly off, so it just kind of scores very lightly across the back of his neck, rather than sinking into the vein, and then just like a baseball bat to the midriff, Fiok's giant axe hits her and she goes flying several yards across the sand, impacting and rolling back to her knees, spitting blood. Joy, for your turn, I need you to make another willpower check.
Okay. I'm not even gonna add that, but it's very low. Very low.
Oh no!
9.
Think
This is
about
good.
all the things you could do with this sort of power. You just
Still-
have to accept it.
I could kill all the Templars.
Oh, there's nothing they could do to stop you. I think it's at this particular moment that the rest of you just see, I think, like, just one sort of muscle in Joy's shoulder just sort of pop.
Oh no!
I'm fine. I'm
Let's-
fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
I'm
no.
fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
But also, you know that song, "You're my best friend." Dun, 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 dun. And that's, yeah.
You all can, I think, also see, you feel just heat beginning to fill the arena, and the sword, instead of having that sort of purpley black stain on it, is just starting to glow slightly red, and you can see the 3 spirits just sort of start kind of thrashing and starting to sort of turn red from the bottom up. I think with your extremely high perception, Eva, you just feel anger boiling around in the arena.
Does it feel like it has a direction at all?
I mean, it seems to be coming from both Joy and this box. Like the seating box, not like a little box.
Yeah. I think seeing that what she thought was the immediate threat get battered away, is going to start coming down still with a new arrow knocked as she's like walking down the arena seats, and just tentatively calls out, "Joy? What exactly? Can you hear me?"
You can hear her.
I think Joy will just not acknowledge, will just disregard Eva and just like dwell on this hatred for Templars and just kind of slowly tune out to the situation.
Yeah, you can just feel heat growing in your hand where the sword is. Like if you gripped it hard enough, you could light it on fire. And use
Joy's
it
going to try
smite
that.
your enemies.
Joy's going to grip it as hard as he can then.
Yeah, you guys watch Joy just kind of, his face contorts with anger and grips the sword and it ignites.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I don't know what that thing is doing, but drop it.
Is this the point where Joy turns around ominously and looks real evil? Is that?
No, we still have some willpower checks to go before
Okay,
you,
all right,
you know,
okay,
go
cool.
full abomination, but
All right then. Well, then Joy's not going to drop it, but he won't turn around ominously yet.
All right, give me everyone's next round of actions.
I think I'm trying to talk Joy down.
Fioc's back is to all of that. So she's just making sure that she is between everybody else and this. She's just playing goalkeeper at this point. And if our Legion lady comes forward, she's gonna do what needs to be done.
How is it? How am I feeling now that I'm in this feedback loop with Moira?
I think you feel like you can just sort of concentrate on that. You could do something else, not something probably that would require, maybe something that has an instantaneous effect would be easier. I think that there's nothing in the rules that says you can't cast another spell when you have this up. It's just draining your mana. In fact, you are drained of 5 mana.
Yep.
That is, you almost feel like it's something that's not being drained from Moira because you're protecting her.
Okay. And I am more or less aware of what's going on with Joy and the Sword, correct?
Yes, and in fact, just based on how fucking well you've been rolling, I think what is immediately apparent, and the fact that you just took the spirit magic specialization, you can feel, I think, and again, you're a mage, you understand this, I think, a lot better than everyone else here, which is just, whatever's happening, you get the sense is this spirit trying to respond to Joy. The spirit isn't doing this to Joy. He's doing this to the spirit.
Yeah. Aelana is going to... How far away is she from Joy?
I would say probably 10 yards.
Okay. Aelana is first going to shout, "Don't bother talking to him, just get it out of his hands now." And she's going to cast Arcane Lance at Joy.
Okay.
You want me to do what now?
So I've used my basic attack so few times that I don't actually know how it works. Give me a second.
You should
Okay.
just have a 2-hit bonus with it.
It's like
Yeah.
boop, staff spin,
Yeah, I mean,
noise.
it's swingy. A little bit hard to do when like you're on your knees trying to like also protect a girl, but she gets it done. Okay.
Swirls it around, slams it on the ground, a line in the sand, shoots forward.
So that's 15.
I believe that hits your defense, Joy.
Yep.
Also, I stunted,
Do it.
Oh no!
Do it.
but I think I
believe
used ranged attacks. Stunts,
Arcane
right?
Lance, uses spell stunts, one of which, if you have 2 of them, is the disarm stunt.
I have exactly 2, so I'm going to use
Yes.
disarm.
Okay, great.
So we have to make opposed attack rolls.
That's correct. So, Joy, go ahead and make an attack roll.
And I just use the same
Correct.
same modifier that I just used.
Strength, I assume, or
Yes, for you, yeah.
roll bad, roll bad, roll bad, roll bad. Okay.
17.
Oh yeah, way below 17. Like less than 10.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, just kidding. Exactly 10.
Yeah, Aelana, you swirl the staff and this line of arcane force bursts from you, impacting into Joy's arm and sending the sword flying out of his hand.
How much damage do you do?
We'll roll for that in a second. First, I have to figure out how far it went, because I have to roll for that.
Yes.
Order of operations.
It is
love
normally plus strength yards. Is it magic in this
That
case?
makes more sense.
Okay, it only went 6 yards. Only 6 yards. And damage-wise, it does... does 9 damage.
Does magic also?
It's not
reduce-
penetrating from Arcane Lance.
Okay.
So your armor will help you.
Yeah,
said
it's
9.
like semi not a spell. So
Okay. You said 9, right?
yes. I rolled a 4.
All right, so missiles will go next. Eva, are you doing anything in particular?
I think if Aelana was saying no, don't bother talking, just take the weapon, I'm gonna try to disarm. Has the weapon hasn't dropped?
It
Oh,
has.
dropped. I'm
Aelana
kicking
just knocked
away.
it out of his hand.
Yeah, I'm kicking it away. I don't
All
want
right,
to touch
you're gonna
that
have to
thing.
run down there.
Yeah. I'll run.
Here is what I will tell you, because this is what's going to happen immediately after that. You see Varen Valmont, who was kind of looking around for a new target, see the sword go flying and also start running for it.
Oh, well, then this is perfect because what's actually going to happen here is I'm going to take a running backstab at her as I'm like running down the steps. And we could try to do a bluff
For you,
for
like,
this backstab.
fainting? Yeah.
Yeah, sort of a little dodge and weave, and also I'm trying to use her single-mindedness to get the sword against her, where I kind of move down towards like the edge of her periphery.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are rules surrounding this, if we're curious.
I am indeed.
Come on, Zoom. I have to use a minor action, which is
Okay.
fine, to try to deceive them. This is an opposed test of my deception, if you have its communication deception, versus willpower self-discipline.
Okie dokie.
Love that look on the DM's face.
Yeah. 17.
10.
Yep.
I rolled 2 1s.
Okay.
I'm getting
Yeah,
new
here-
dice.
Here it come.
Yeah, she is extremely single-minded, so this makes a good deal of sense.
Oh, I'm rolling like fire tonight. It's 11, 15, 21.
That definitely hits.
No stunts, but here's an extra 2d6 of damage. Oh, sorry, with a +2 bonus, because it was that. On top of my bonuses, it was in fact a 24. A 23. A 23.
Fine. Actually, 24, because in order to get down there, you would have had to charge as your major action.
Yo.
Which would have given you a +1 bonus. Just saying.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm loving this. That is going to be 11 points of damage.
Very nice. Very nice. It is not quite enough. But she's looking very hurt.
I am now engaged with this, though.
Yes. Oh man. I still think she's gonna try and pick up the sword.
Ah!
Can't pick up the sword if you're dead.
Yeah, I think what happens is she's just you kind of faint forward, dodge back, and then just sort of leap on her as she just tried to do to Joy, but with much more success. The knife kind of stabs up near her collarbone. It doesn't quite hit her heart as you were aiming for, but definitely kind of you just see one of her arms is fucked up. Just you can like see some ligaments and stuff, but with her other hand, she just sort of dives forward for the sword in the.
With the free action, can I speak?
Oh yeah.
I just said, don't be stupid. Are you mad? Did you see what that thing almost did? Don't touch it.
She goes, for a Ferelden, you certainly don't know much about your own history. With this, I will be unstoppable. And she just reaches forward and grabs onto it, and you just see purple and black just sort of from through it. You can see her eyes kind of roll back. And her whole form just start twitching and twisting. But that is taking up her action. Fiak.
Well then.
And I think as she touches it, just all of you feel this just roiling sense of arrogance.
Fucking knew it!
Power.
All right then. I guess. Well, she's standing still. That's convenient.
And she's actually technically lying on the ground because to get there she had to sort of jump and grab and I don't know. It's more
God,
traumatic.
being
now.
prone gives me a little bonus
I
too.
sure do.
All right. Well, Fioc's just like, I guess this is happening. And you see her just kind of step up, do a very casual twirl of this massive battle axe, and take a swing. That's gonna fucking do it. That's a 12 plus 7 again. No stunts this time, unfortunately.
And it's actually +8 because of the...
Oh, sorry,
Prone.
plus 8. So 20.
Yeah. That'll do it.
And alas, but 7 points of damage.
Hold on. Let me check my math here.
Mhm.
Oh. Sadly, no. Very close, but no.
Just all right. Well then, yeah. So I imagine Fiac just basically walks over and just goes, "Bomp."
Yeah, you do it. But kind of as you stab into her, you can see her flesh here in the fade beginning to warp and harden. Her form seems to be beginning to grow. Mottled purple and blue and expanding. You see claws clawing their way out of her fingertips, lightning sparking between them.
Weak lowlanders.
It is objectively upsetting.
Yeah, I think Eva mutters some litanies from the Cune under her breath, seeing this lack of control, this complete willingness to subject themselves to...
You're standing like right next to me. Can I hear that?
Yeah, I'm going to say that this comes because you just said it was objectively upsetting. You know what? In fact, if I may be so bold, may I roll for a self-discipline check?
Absolutely. In fact, I think I'd like both of you to do that. This is very horrifying. And you just hear her.
That's willpower. That's willpower, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. 14.
8, 10, 12.
I think Fiac, as your hands shake a little bit as you're withdrawing it, and I think the litanies just pour forth. 15 was the target number.
Oof.
Both of you are shaken. You can take either a minor or a major action on your next move, but not both.
Gotcha.
You've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I guess if you want to have heard me say that, I'm definitely saying it.
Yeah, I here's the thing. It heard it means nothing to me.
Your secret is safe with my ignorance.
Yeah. But she hasn't been she's spent the last year and a half outside of the Frostbacks. That's it.
I love it. That's sublime.
All right. At the top of the round, Aolana, you lose 5 more mana.
Oh gosh.
But you see Moira kind of. Who are you? Where are we? What's going on?
So Aelana's attention is pulled away from the drama happening a little bit away, although it's hard for her to pull her attention away from that because she knows that this is not good. She turns to Moira and is not able to hide her Orlesian accent one bit, but she tries to sound vaguely at least reassuring and tells her, you're among friends. Try not to move too much. We're in the fade, but hopefully this will all be over soon.
I think as soon as she hears your accent, you just see her whole face kind of just fall a little bit. You're not sure whether or not she believes you, but she's clearly upset by the fact that you're Orlesian. And you see her just sort of like push herself slightly away from you and kind of dig her hands into the ground to pull herself to a seated position. Are you casting any magic or doing anything? I assume everyone else is going to be doing melee based.
Yeah.
LeBlanc.
There is a spell I would like to at least attempt casting.
All right.
You said I was 10 yards away from the action.
Well, at this point they've sort of moved, but I was imagining it being somewhat parallel to you. We'll say triangulating. It's about 8 yards.
Okay. As long as it's under 10, 10
Yeah.
or under, I'm fine. So I am starting to get a little bit, not too badly dizzy, not too badly headachy, but it's definitely, this shield is definitely taking its toll. And I know I'm going to have to keep it up for a while. So because I don't know how long I'm going to be useful, I'm going to do some stuff up top. Hopefully we won't need it. But I am going to cast Rejuvenation on Fiak, which is ranged. And it has a target number of 15 with requirements.
Ooh, all right.
So
Well, it's gonna be hard for you to get lost in the fade any more than you already are.
that's true. Oh, but I definitely tried. Apparently I'm a bit distracted by everything. So that is nope, it's a 12.
All right. Well, I will explain why that happened because this is what was about to happen next. Is as she pushed herself up, you see Moira grab a handful of the sand and just throw it in your face as she scrambles backwards, trying to get away from you.
So
The dust kind of as right as you're casting the spell.
can you please remind me what happens when you fail to hit a target number with the requirement?
That's a great question. I believe I need to know the number on your dragon die.
I can't
is-
fight 2 abominations.
It is a 1,
Oh no!
which is why I feel like we need to have this discussion now.
I think you're
Princess
very
Sand.
right.
Princess Sand
Oh,
fucking
God.
us all over.
I rolled a 1, a 1, and a 3.
This is where we load the quick save, right?
Yep.
Yep.
This is when that moment when you're playing DA2 and you've brought Fenris into the Fade with you, only to realize that when he gets possessed, he curb stomps the hell out of you.
Okay, so you need to make a willpower self-discipline test against the spell's target number.
Okay. Oh, that wasn't much better.
Oh, we're all gonna die. Well, maybe.
Yeah, probably. That is a 5 plus, that's an 8 against a
Okay.
15.
Yeah,
Oh,
and what's the dragon
no.
die?
2.
Okay. You lose health equal to twice the spell's original cost.
And I've also lost the MP from casting the spell too,
Yes.
right?
Could be worse.
So Aelana goes down hard.
Like down?
At the very least, she's basically bent over, cowering.
Okay.
Way out of proportion with just getting sand thrown in her face.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see just this, as you're releasing the spell, your motion is slightly off and just this kind of backlash of magical energy fires across you. And I don't know that anyone's paying attention to her, but Moira just kind of like looks at her hand for a second and then back up at you like, oh my god, oh Mika.
Is her spell shield still maintaining?
Spirit God.
I don't see why not.
It's more like we're entangled together than Aelana's actively
Yeah.
holding it up at this point. And we're what? Are we 3 rounds into it?
Mhm.
Out of 5? Okay.
All right, so that's Aelana and Moira. Moira's kind of bent over, kind of crawling, half running away. What are the 3 of you doing? Let's go with Joy first, just because you're a little less, I think, incapacitated than the other 2, who are a little freaked out. 'Cause they're closer to the action.
I think once the sword leaves his hand, I think he'll take a deep breath as if he was just like coming out of a pool after holding his breath for like a little too long. And then try to shake that off as quickly as possible, since he sees his companions wailing on something. Not sure what, but he's gonna want to help out. So I think he'll try to help out in any way he can, preferably with a mace.
Yeah, you can just run on over there.
Sure.
If you like. Are you going to try and hit this thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Do I need to do a spooky demon save?
Yes, I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna need you to make a willpower test as you get a little closer to it. This would be self-discipline. I would also accept morale, I think.
Wish I could add. Wish I could add. I have a math degree. Did you guys know that? Can't add. 12.
All right. I think you kind of run over there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to negate the bonus you would get, because she is technically prone still. So I'm just going to negate the bonus that you would get from that. As you're just kind of like, your strike goes a little while, you're recoiling in horror.
Sure.
And then on your next turn, you'll be able to take either a major or a minor action, but not both. But right now, you can still make your attack as normal.
Sure. Okay.
Just without that bonus from sort of the, oh my god, this is her, but awful. And I think the added horror of, this is what was happening to you.
Yeah, I think internally that's more what's. Ooh, I was 30 seconds away from that easily. Especially with all these willpower rolls today, going the way they have been. All right, well, there's a good roll for on attack. That's nice. 17.
Mm-hmm. That'll do
with 3 stunt points.
Ooh.
And I think I'll dual strike, because warriors can do that for 3 stunt points at level 4.
You would have to. Do you mean a dual strike has to be against a secondary target?
Oh, I thought you could apply it to the same target a second time.
That's
I'm
lightning attack,
That's
which is
lightning
also
attack.
3 points.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, then that works too. Okay, my system's mixed up. Sure, I'll do lightning attack
Okay.
then.
Roll again.
It's a separate attack, so I don't have the.
Mhm.
the
Yeah, it's a
stunt
separate
thing in front of
attack.
me. Okay, cool, sure. So let's see. That is. Second one is only a. That can't be. Oh, I forgot a number. 15.
That hits.
Okay, I was like 12. How? Yeah, 15. Okay, so they both hit. So I'll just roll one, and you'll apply the armor twice or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
14.
So Joy runs up, gets this look. You can see it. You see the sword kind of growing and twisting, almost like growing into her hand at this point. And you, I think, just kind of see the horrible, laughing, distending face. Describe how you kill this creature.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I think unceremoniously. I think he's just too caught up in the thought of, that was me in 30 seconds. I was falling for this thing. I don't know what knocked that out of my hand, but that's a life debt for sure. And I think by the time he comes, like I don't even think he's paying attention to what he's doing. I think he's just lost in this, like in an internal monologue, just like, oh crap. And that by the time he comes to, he's just, the job is done, and he's just kind of caught off guard, I think.
Yeah, I'm just picturing that no one would recognize this face or head at this point.
Oops.
And as the hand just sort of goes slack, the body kind of morphs back, and the sword is just laying there.
Could I like flavor once once that's done, kick the sword away? Just
Yeah, absolutely.
cool. Yeah, Joe will do that.
Fuck.
Are any of the rest of you doing anything at this precise moment?
I mean, Eva was getting ready to fire another shot from her bow, but seeing that Joy's taken it down, will like wide-eyed just sort of lower the weapon. I think giving Joy a little appraising look because she did see what was going on with him. Just trying to like ascertain like, is it really you? Are we good?
In between, like not like fatigued heavy breaths, but like catching up to the moment, panicked like heavy breaths. Like, yeah, it's me. I'm good. Whew. Don't touch that sword. Jeez, do not touch that sword.
Nobody's touching that sword.
Good.
Now, can we please get out of here?
Right.
What's the spirit doing?
The spirit, you can make me a perception test, empathy, I think, or seeing.
That's only a 13.
The spirit has it's been sort of like roiling and morphing, and at this point, you see it kind of recoalescing, just into that singular figure, armored, and crowned, and it's leaning forward, looking at something behind you.
Oh. What's behind us?
And I think you turn around to just see Moira picking up the sword and leveling at all of you. I want to go home. Take me back. And you see her eyes glowing golden for just a moment, and then you see that same sort of crown just sort of appear momentarily. And then it disappears. And you look back, Fiak, and the spirit is gone. And the sword is just sort of glowing golden. And she's looking at you with frightened eyes.
Would having spent a decent chunk of her young life with an apprentice augur, would she have picked up any information on this kind of thing by osmosis?
I think all of you can go ahead and make me tests at this particular point in time. I will allow a perception test. I will allow... I think I would allow an arcane lore test, a spirit magic test.
14 for perception.
18 for spirit magic.
12 for perception. Unless it's hearing.
Oh, I muted myself. 12 for perception.
All right. I think Fiak, Joy, both of you are like waiting for a monster to start springing out of this teen girl. Although I think both of you do also notice. I don't know that either of you got a super good look at her. So I mean, she's standing quite straight, holding this fairly heavy sword in one hand very easily. Eva, I think you're perceptive enough to have noticed that she was very injured earlier, and you just watch all of her wounds just close.
Uh-oh, no.
But you've met Moira before, and her eyes look normal. She looks a little scared, but she's looking at you actually with kind of recognition and this expression of, like, when she's saying, please take me home, she's talking to you. And you actually see a little bit of like a smile, like a little bit of relief, drifting over her face. Ilana, you realize the exact same thing that just happened to everyone else happened to her. But this spirit is manifesting very differently with her. You're guessing maybe because she doesn't know any better? Or because her presiding emotional state is so different? You're not sure exactly how the spirit is manifesting for her. But it is definitely meshing with her in the same way.
It's not like metastasizing or anything.
No. And you actually feel your spell just sort of dissipate. You get the sense that the function that you were performing in protecting her, this spirit has taken over.
Yala's gonna let out a very, very, very exhausted, relieved sigh at that.
And she just sort of, seeing Eva, looks around all of them. Just, Lady Morin. I'm so relieved. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here. Is everyone all right?
We came to get you out of here. Ilana, do we have a way to get back?
She's all Legion. We can't trust her.
She's with us. I've co-opted her.
Alana is staying very low on her knees, very submissively. She has practice with this.
And you see her kind of glance over. I want to believe that. And her eyes open and you just see them sort of flash for a second and she straightens up a little bit. Okay. We can go home now.
Yes, trust me. And I pulled out a hand.
She reaches out her hand to take yours. And as she touches you, you just feel like everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, no.
You just feel a confidence and a hopefulness suffuse you.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking about all the reports that Eva's gonna have to write. Yeah, so Eva will like pull Moira closer in and is like giving a pointed look at Aolana, like, all right, we got what we came for. We gotta get out of here. She does not want to be in the Fade anymore.
Does Alana need to do another ritual to get us all out? Or...
And you just need to focus for a set number of rounds.
Okay.
Did what's her face revert back to human form or stay as a pride demon?
She reverted back to human form.
Cool.
I think there might be a few sort of like mutations, but
yeah, I think Fiak wants to see what exactly she's got on her. She came from somewhere, she had allies.
absolutely. You know that this is not her actual physical body, or Aolana would, I think, be able to quickly explain to you.
Yeah, Fiak like starts rippling through this, and it just keeps changing, and it's just like
will come back with you.
So I guess Aolana will actually like get up and stagger closer so she can actually be close enough to everybody to really focus. And she says, you know, stay close and we'll wake up soon. And starts focusing.
And as you walk over, you see Moira kind of look at you again, that slight shine, I would say, in her eyes, and she says, I'm sorry I threw sand at you. I did think you were trying to kill me.
I should have led with the fact that I was with the rebellion. It's understandable. I've been scared before.
I understand. I do apologize. Yeah, and you concentrate. There's no immediate threat, so you're able to do this easily enough. You just have to concentrate for a number of rounds. I have one question for all of you, which is, you do remember that there was another person in the room that you left. Are you doing anything as you're getting ready to sort of transition back? And what is that, and can you describe it for me?
Aelana is doing her best to focus really well this time so that we don't have a repeat of getting scattered. And that's probably going to take all of her focus, although she definitely remembers because she was just being sucked dry by whoever it is. So she knows that they're still active.
I think Fioc's gonna pat Joy on the shoulder and just get, are you all right?
Right as rain.
That sounds like a lie, but all right.
A little freaked out, but I'll be okay. I'm really freaked out, but I'll be okay.
As long as you're fit to fight.
Always.
Eva, are you making any preparations?
I mean, technically, I'm always prepared. I think I've holstered my bow across my back at this point, though. But I've got my dagger at my hip, and I'm sort of fiddling with it as I'm watching Aelana focus in on getting us ready to be sent back to the real world.
Yeah, Aelana, you're kind of focusing, and you just feel a hand on your shoulder as you're focusing. And you just look up and you see the princess. She goes, "You can do this."
Gonna make Aelana cry. She's not used to having people apologize to her and then support her.
And I do need you to make a willpower test, but you get a +2 bonus on this test.
Okay, let's see.
Moral support bonus.
16.
Yeah. With that, you close your eyes and we watch the 5 of you now disappear from this arena in the fade and reappear in a darkened room. Underground. And I think that's where we're going to take a quick break.
Whoo, whoo, whoo.
We will be right back for the conclusion of this thrilling Dragon Age adventure, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, my friends, to the thrilling conclusion, that's a word I can say, the thrilling conclusion of our Dragon Age Rebellion flight of fandom. Our characters emerge from the Fade and into the dark tomb of Lady Shayna. In front of you, you can see 2 things. This place is very dimly lit. There's a soft sort of red glow suffusing everything. And outlined against this red glow, you can see 2 things. One of them is a figure standing, and the other is a small figure pacing back and forth in front of the 4 of you as you are sprawled prone on some steps, growling. You hear Snowdrop growling as you see a bloom of strange light appear around the hand of this mage. And Fioc, I need you to make a willpower test.
Oof.
Self-discipline.
Right in on it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cool. This is fine. Everything's fine. That's great. This is fine. Well, if I could stunt on this, that would be great, because that's 2 1s and a 6. So that is a total of 10.
All right.
And the 6 is on my dragon dice.
I'll keep that in mind. You can see, just as magic flares, you see a woman. She is skinny and corded with muscle. She has a completely shaved head. Her skin is a little darker than you would expect from both a mage and someone from this part of the world. She looks like she's probably from the northern part of Thetis, perhaps Navarra or Tevinter, at least in ancestry. She's wearing a complex sort of leather armor robe type situation with long hanging straps, like a kind of like a Roman centurion's skirt a little bit, or like Morrigan's outfit from Origins. Kind of the vibe I'm going for. And she's standing there and she cocks one eyebrow and she says, "Well, I must say, you have a very loyal dog. I suppose we can't say the same of poor Varen, eh?"
Eva is up. Dagger is out. Shut your mouth, witch.
I was simply hired to perform a task. I have done so. I have no quarrel with you.
Be that as it may, I think I can speak for the rest of my companions and say that we have plenty of quarrel with you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm certain I could make myself useful.
And how exactly do you propose to do that?
And as you ask her this, Fiak, you just feel like a pounding headache. And she says, "I have many talents. I could, for example, help you find the people that did that to her. The ones who are really responsible."
What is she talking about?
I think, yeah, you see Fiok basically do the thing where she goes to talk, opens her mouth, and then shuts it again, and then opens her mouth and And what would you know of such things?
I have a great many talents that most mages aren't even aware are possible. I can find people, I can find lost things. I found this place. After all, do you think little Miss Lionheart over here managed that on her own?
Who are you?
I am a mercenary. I give my name to my friends and my clients. Do you have an interest in being either? If not, then I will take my leave.
And what exactly do you take in payment for knowledge such as what you've mentioned?
Gold, favors, knowledge, protection. You look like the kind of woman who could protect me.
You're not wrong.
Fia, you're not seriously listening to her.
She's offering me something I want.
She's a blood mage.
And
And you are a liar.
I get paid for that.
So do I.
I'm not
What
in the habit of
one-
letting blood mages live.
And I'm not in the habit of being killed. So it seems we're at an impasse.
Looking over at Joy and Aelana, like, would you back? Like, it's kind of like a.
If you attack me, I will exsanguinate your dog and disappear. So I would suggest you avoid it. I don't want to do this.
I will say, I think, and you see Fiak's body language changes radically at that. You would find that to be a rather tragic mistake.
Oh, I didn't realize it was your dog. I assumed. Forgive me.
She belongs to no one. She is her own.
Very well. I do not like to resort to violence if it's unnecessary. Is it necessary?
Where's Moira?
She's behind the blood mage. I would actually like you to make me a perception test.
Yeah.
Yeah, she little fucking hired her. I know it. Fuck. Oh.
Oh.
Ugh.
Any of
10.
you may do that if you choose. Here's what I'll say, Eva, with that, you know she was behind the blood mage, sort of in this spell circle, which is no longer functioning. You can see sort of magic swirling sort of around the blood mage. Just sort of a weird distortion in the air. You would guess it's probably some sort of magical defense. But you don't see Moira anywhere.
Where is the princess? If you-
Are any of the rest of you looking around? Sorry, just at that moment. No?
Fiaka's focused.
Alana,
Fiaka's
what
definitely
about you?
focused.
Aelana is was still adjusting, is now dealing with the rather foreign emotion of jealousy and not quite knowing how to handle that.
Okay. As you kind of ask where the princess is, she turns to look around. What? Where are you, kitten? I made you come to me once. I can do it again.
You'll do no such thing while I'm here.
I hear you. Smart girl, not falling for the same trick twice. Maybe she will be queen after all.
And what is your interest in this? Who paid you?
The Valmont paid me fairly well as well, and up front. Although, I wouldn't mind taking a little extra. If you're amenable, we can split it up. She's got quite nice things.
Aelana is actually going to, she's looking at this mage and she's like, so you're independent, you're powerful, you're persuasive, but they still sent for me because you weren't getting the results they wanted. Huh.
She smiles and she says, "You have more spirit than the usual circle mage, I will grant you that. I like your spunk, child. But they sent for you because I'm a mercenary, and I asked for a little more than they wanted. And you, they knew they could twist into doing whatever they liked. Besides, I would have gotten much further with one of you than I had to with 4 of these guards. It was a simple matter of arithmetic."
Aelana does not like that at all. She just, I admit that in the past, I have certainly taken the yoke, but if you think that you can take the power of my blood, you are dearly mistaken.
I have no intention of trying unless you force my hand.
I think you should leave,
I quite agree.
as is, nothing else. Your life should be payment enough.
Does that nothing else include none of your touchy friend's arrows in my back as I go?
Well,
I have a feeling that however much control you might have gained over yourself, you have not a modicum of it over her.
no, and I don't want any.
mage has spoken. What say you, tall, dark, and mace-wielding?
Joy will basically eye her up and down. I don't think he'll say anything. I think he'll just look over to Eva with like and kind of like tilt his head, like if anything to try to signal I'm down to let her go, but I got your back.
It's 2 for 2 now. Eva knows when like the most of the group isn't with her, and slowly lowers her dagger and just says, "If you leave now, you know you'll be found eventually."
But who is going to do the finding, I wonder? And she winks at Fiak.
I think ooh yeah, you probably see one of those like a micro expression, like little like kind of like little not tiny micro nod, like involuntary from
Do a
Fiak.
self-control check.
Yeah,
Terrible.
anytime.
I'm gonna take a self-control check.
Roll for thirst? No, I'm kidding.
Roll for
Thirst check.
Hey, you don't need to attack me like that. Also, this is thirst for murder, thank you.
I know.
Righteous vengeance.
I'm still gonna make the check.
Please, by all
Because I
means.
can't decide. I can't decide what Aelon is
Hopper,
gonna do.
it's Dragon Age. Most of us thirsted after vengeance.
You're
not wrong.
It's a 10.
All right. What were you trying to control yourself against?
Aelana was trying not to lash out at the blood mage. She didn't like that wink.
Ooh, jealousy.
I said she's not used to dealing with this emotion.
I know, it's so good.
God, I wish that actually made sense to do.
What would you like to do, Aelana?
Oh my god.
See, this is when I wish I actually had a bunch of offensive spells. I don't. It's a real shame that weakness doesn't really do much against mages, is what I will say. Because that pretty much just leaves me with Arcane Lance.
You going for it?
Yeah, well, why
right.
not?
Oh, the dagger's back out.
Roll your
Sorry,
dice,
guys.
Aelana.
That is a 20 to hit.
Oh,
That hits.
And
Okay.
no stunting, sadly. 9 damage.
All right, you take 5 points of damage. And you watch your spell impacts her. She goes, and then smiles, and you just watch as a cut appears across Aelana's chest, and a little bit of her wounds just close up. She goes, "Would you like to try again, darling? Or have we had enough of our fit of pique?"
Aelana is breathing hard at this point. She did not come out of the fade, actually, looking that great. But she looks back at Fiak and goes, "This may be the decision you would make on your own, but you are not making it on your own right now. You must make this decision for yourself."
I've got the answer. Fiak is gonna look to Snowdrop.
You see the dog kind of sitting between the two of you. I think you get the sense that the dog doesn't like that the two of you are fighting.
God.
Kind of looking back and forth.
Despite what has happened here, there's no need for any more bloodshed. This is funnier because does Fade Gore come off after you leave the Fade?
I mean, it's not tangible, so I would guess yes.
Okay, yeah. So not actively covered in gore for once. Fiok is saying that there's no need for more blood.
Very well. Then I take my leave of you. And she takes sort of like 3 or 4 steps backward, watching all of you. Kind of backing slowly out of the room. And turning up the tunnel. And you hear her footsteps very quickly receding.
As soon as we hear the echoes of her like running, Joy's just gonna immediately start looking for the princess.
Yeah, sure. Make a perception roll. I would say searching, or I would really accept pretty much anything except empathy.
I don't have any of those. 12.
Okay. You don't see her.
Only
You do
panicking
see-
a little bit.
I think you do see Varen's body is lying in the circle, and Moira, there's a couple splashes of blood from where she had been laying, and a couple of them are smeared.
Situation with the sword in the
Make a perception
in the
test.
sarcophagus. That's pretty good. That's I assume this is seeing, not hearing.
You can make a hearing test if you would prefer.
I would prefer, because what do my our ears hear? Because that would put me at a 6, 4, 3 plus 2, 15. No, sorry. If you have an advantage, if you have the thing in
Plus
it, then
2.
it's an additional +2. So 17.
Okay, great. You hear. Coming from kind of around behind the sarcophagus. And as you kind of follow it, you realize the sword is gone. And then you see kind of tucked into a crack in the stonework, you just see 2 eyes peering out in the darkness.
Oh no, don't let me do the talking. So Fiok is going to kind of squat down to like only 4 feet tall. And just kind of look at like kind of just kind of get just talk to her like she would talk to what she presumes to be Moira in a tone very similar to what she would use for like a scared animal or an injured animal.
What do you say?
There is no need for fear anymore, little Thane. You can come out now. We won't allow anybody to hurt you anymore.
She kind of, you see her kind of squeeze first one shoulder and then the other out of this little like crack in the stone that she had hidden in. She goes, "She gone?"
Should be.
I guess I came to before the rest of you. She had her back turned. I hid. I didn't know what else to do. Not very royal of me, I suppose.
Good survival instincts, though.
I don't know, she just was looming. Looming is bad.
There's the family resemblance.
God damn it. So Fiok's gonna like just kind of step backwards and like, you know, kind of be like kind of backing her forward to the rest of the group.
Princess, you're right.
Yes, Lady Morin, thank you for coming to my rescue. Has it been... How long has it been?
How long has it been?
I think like less than 3 days.
3 days since we set out to find you, but we were...
Oh, no, sorry. 3 days since she went missing.
Okay. But just wreck on that.
Yeah.
It's been 3 days.
I wasn't certain. Things were very strange at first. I didn't really feel like I was in control of my own actions.
Blood magic. Sinister and dark, you're lucky to have survived.
Yes. You actually see her kind of looking around. She seems... There's, like, you can see, like, a couple of holes in her clothing, but she appears entirely uninjured, despite the fact that there's blood on the floor where she had been.
I'm sure that when we're back safely with the other rebels, we can make plans to track down this witch and stop her before she can manipulate others.
She just
Biak
sort of
is-
A
nods.
pointed look over her.
Biak is just doing the stuffed monkey side-eye gif.
She goes, I must get back to my father. He will be worried sick. And... Oh, is everyone making a terrible fuss?
Well, they'll make less of a fuss by the time we get back.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I'm terribly sorry to have put all of you in such danger.
That's what we do.
Besides, how could we be in danger when you've got this wee little beastie looking over us?
Yeah, and you see Snowdrop has actually just totally started like rubbing her head against Moira, who's just, oh, who's a good Mambari? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I believe it's canonical that about a fifth of my pack weight is Mabari Crunch, so Fiak definitely fishes out a few biscuits and hands a couple to this little weird little thing.
Yeah, you guys also see, she kind of looks around and as you guys are all getting, I assume you're making ready to leave.
Oh, yeah. Eva wants to get out of here.
She kind of walks over to one of the dead guards. You see a brief look of revulsion kind of wash over her face, and then she just bends down and unstraps like a sword that the guard had and a shield and kind of wipes them off and slings them over her shoulder. She goes, you never know what we'll encounter on the way back.
Isn't she carrying the sword still? Oh, that's fucking ominous.
Yeah, I think Eva would notice that as well.
I'll pick up, I think Fiak's just gonna pick up, what's-her-face wholesale.
Varen.
Varen.
Yeah, she has very nice looking daggers. Her armor is quite nice. She has a gold signet ring. Her mask is gold. She has masterwork armor and daggers.
I'm taking the signet ring, and I'm probably going to slip it off of her finger. And I don't want y'all to see me do this.
Okay, why don't you make a stealth check?
Oh, shit.
Actually, legerdemain.
The odds of me seeing that are extraordinarily high, because that's the best I've rolled all night.
That's 2 6s. That's gonna be 18.
20.
Fuck.
But guess what? Still don't care, because
Oh
that
my
means
God.
nothing to me.
Wait, I love that so far you have seen me do the shadiest shit and are just like, whatever.
Sounds legit.
In fact, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, Fiak's just picking up this body and taking it with her. She'll fucking gladly be like, all right, well, don't want these daggers falling out, and just hands them off to whoever grabs them first. And
The daggers.
yeah, yeah, and just chucks, like, is gonna take that mask, kind of look at it, and then if nobody takes that, she's gonna chuck that shit away. Like,
it is made of gold, and actually you can see, I think Aelana and Joy would probably both notice this, there's a rune on it. Worked into the interior.
that's about to get yeeted unless somebody does something.
It's not going to be Aelana. She is in her own head right now.
I think as you're tossing the stuff like to the ground, like she may like Eva may have taken the signet ring as you were lifting the body like as slyly as she thought she was, but then when she sees you tossing the daggers and the mask, like you probably missed this because you're walking in front of her. She's like, what And she just gathers them up like in your wake.
Yeah. So and like you basically you see basically Fiok just like it's like a bag of chips basically, like with the ease of carrying this entire ass body and then like just chucking shit out. But she's just gonna head for the exit.
Is
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
skeleton acquaintance still around?
Yes, there is a skeleton. It's not moving anymore.
Huh. Okay. I think
Yeah,
on the
a
way out, Joy
skeleton-
may give it a little salute as he walks past.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that it's the armor it's wearing is quite nice, and there's like a little sort of like patch on it. Like a little, not a patch, sorry, like a, what's the word I want? Like a
blazon.
brooch or like a sigil, like a metal, a badge, for
Sure.
lack of a better word. I don't
That's
know.
what a badge is.
Yeah,
Badge
it's a
is what you're
badge.
looking for.
That would be relatively easy to remove if you were looking for some sort of memento.
Nah.
Okay.
No.
It's just the opposite of murder hoboing. We're just like, nah.
Do you guys
Yeet.
have a there was no light in here after the blood mage left. I assume you were
I've got
producing
torches.
some sort of light.
Yeah.
The other thing that you notice is that there are some murals in here, which you didn't notice originally just because the light was all coming from weird blood magic. And they depict what it all appear to be the heroic sort of actions of a woman, a lady knight. And fighting on behalf of what appears to be a king in the iconography. And they're, I think Aolana, just based on your knowledge, you would recognize this as various depictions of the deeds of Lady Shayna. But the ending part is not included. Sort of the more ignominious part of her story seems to have been omitted by whoever created this. The style is quite old in Ferelden terms, probably at least 400 years. It's quite
She's
faded.
uncharacteristically not taking a close look at all. But she is following along.
Moira is sort of chattering away, half like nervous and half clearly very relieved. Says, "You, of course, I recognize Lady Morin, and you look quite familiar," she says to Joy. "But I can't say that we've had the pleasure of meeting. I'm sure I would remember an Avar and an Orlesian mage."
No, I can't say that we have met.
"Well, it's a great pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Moira Tharin, and you are?"
Like Fiak just turns around, carrying a whole ass body. Like she's very single-minded and she's just like, I am Fiak Unscathed of the Canhold Avar.
The Unscathed? Is that your legend mark? I've heard Avar have them.
No, little one. I have done nothing worth a legend mark.
I don't know. Crown Saver? I don't know. We could make something out of this.
We'll probably workshop it on the way home. Fade Walker.
Wait, Fade Walker?
Lion
We were
Slayer.
technically in the Fade.
We were in the Fade?
Ruh-roh.
I don't remember anything.
like Eva puts a hand on her shoulder, like, I will fill you in on this as we walk out of here.
But I suppose you rarely remember anything from the Fade? That's with dreaming, right?
You'll have to talk to the mage.
Oh, right. Hello, Moira Theron. Princess of Ferelden, I guess.
Blood runs strong and it
Yeah,
runs
I do.
true.
She holds out a hand for you to shake.
Aelana looks at it and is clearly trying to figure out if she's supposed to be bowing or something else, but she does take it and she goes, Aelana of, and then hesitates, and then kind of quietly says, Keenlock Hold.
You don't have a Templar with you.
It has been an eventful couple of weeks.
Honestly, you seem a lot nicer than that weird blood mage lady, so I'm not going to ask too many questions.
Spitting image.
Lumen is bad. Oh my god.
Who else was I supposed to base this character?
I love it. I'm living for this.
My heart, my damn heart.
Alistair is Bay.
Everyone nods. Everyone like that.
Yeah, Fiak is just like again punching straight forward. She wants out of this place. As long as Snowdrop and everybody else is following, that's all she cares about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're all you all walk out up the tunnel and back out, and as you reemerge onto the cliffs above Lake Calenhad, the sun is just beginning to rise, touching the cliffs with golden light that makes them sparkle, the red stone of them that gives the region and the nearby town its name. And these cliffs, their name, Blood Cliffs. Just sort of weird dripping looking layers of red stone. Moira sort of looks around. I have not the faintest idea where we are.
Well, that's why we're here.
Is it far back to Redcliffe?
It's not too bad. Bit of a
we-
hike.
Can we see Redcliffe from here?
Not precisely from here, as I discovered from
The
watching
fun-
very weird people exploring weird areas of the map videos. You can, from a nearby area, potentially, if your computer has significantly high processing power, render something that's probably Redcliffe Castle. But
Gotcha.
we'll say the lake's a bit misty.
Anybody else want to loot like poke around this body before I yeet it?
Yeah.
I've said yeet way too many times tonight. I apologize to our
Yeah.
audience.
You know Eva wants to.
Yeah, so Fiak will dump the body and kind of turn and give Eva like kind of like a go ahead look. I know you're gonna do your weird carrion bird thing.
Yep. Here I go.
And is just gonna focus on Snowdrop. Make sure she's not injured, just do the whole thing, and then after doing that is going to focus on Joy.
Absolutely. So, Eva, it sounds like you're going to investigate the body.
Mm-hmm. What is investigation under?
I think it would be a searching perception check.
Gotcha. Nice. Not too bad. 14.
Yeah, everything of like significant monetary value that she had was the things I already described. But I think that you find a small like notebook.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, tucked away in an inner pocket.
Yeah.
And the very first thing you notice, it's written in sort of a dense hand. It's in Orlesian also.
I can read Orlesian.
But the first thing you see is a family tree on the inside, very ornately done, very old. stating that this woman, who when you saw her, she was probably in her early 40s, claims to be, and she claimed to be the rightful Empress of Orlais. Would you go ahead and just make me a historical lore test?
That's cunning, right?
Indeed.
Oh, not super great. 10.
These names look kind of familiar. They're all just sort of listed as names. You're like, pretty sure at least one of these was at one point the name of an emperor of Orlais.
There's other people in Parval, and that can parse that for me. I just pocket it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to show off the fact that I did my genealogical research.
I'm so excited.
Just quick lore aside for everyone. The Mad Emperor slaughtered his, I believe, younger cousin's entire family. There are rumors that one daughter managed to escape.
The Princess Anastasia.
Yes.
Got murdered in a tomb.
But there is no further record of her, so.
Interesting.
Now there is. Anyway,
Amazing.
sorry, sidebar over.
Or amazing. No, I love it.
Watch it become a major plot point in DA4 just to fuck with our weird.
No, the return of Varen Valmont. No, she would definitely be dead by the event
Very
of
dead.
Dragon Age 4.
Yeah, but maybe her it's like, oh, I'm the daughter. Anyways, she could have had a kid. Whatever. We murdered her after she had a kid.
She still could, yeah, have at this point. She still could have.
Have had.
I'm like, I'm about to yeet her dead body over a cliff, so.
Blood magic. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God. Yeah. So Fiak is, while that's happening, Fiak's like kind of like doing the. Are you okay? You had a little bit of a congestion there. She's like struggling to find the words to politely say you almost turned into an abomination. To Joy.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Got a scratch on the back. Yeah, a couple nights rest. Nightmares for life. It'll be fine.
Fine then.
I know you would have taken me out if it came to that.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
No worries. So no worries there.
Of course, and I would expect nothing less from you should the same befall.
Well, he'll like look up at you because you're quite a bit taller than him. I certainly would have tried.
Yeah, takes that as a compliment. Yeah. How long does it take Eva to loot this body?
I don't think very long.
So I think right after that, like it's like you see Fiak being all grinny and like kind of gives Snowdrop a little like from this like I would have tried to murder you too, and which is like just the sweetest compliment. And then is going to just grab this body and is it a straight drop to the lake or are there like rocks?
It's fairly straight. You could try and hit some rocks if you were trying
Yeah,
hard.
I'm trying to wedge this body in some rocks somewhere.
That'll be a little more difficult. I would say probably.
Pain in the ass, but
A might test. Strength might.
I mean, even if you fail, it's not a bad result. I mean,
Yeah, she'll just fall straight in the lake.
not my best roll, but it's still a 15.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You we'll say you impale her on a spire.
Nice.
Nice. Sky burial, baby. Yeah, you kind of see Fiak like kind of rubbing this giving the braid at the back of her head a little tug as she like looks down and inspects the handiwork.
Good riddance.
Well, now what do we do?
Perhaps Redcliffe to finally make our report.
Oh, that's right. Well then. And what do we do about this one? And she just she's giving Aolana the eyeball.
Ilana sort of looks at all of them and then looks at Eva and says, I would appreciate after you're done an escort back to the circle.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
And she looks at Viak and says, you know, if you had gone with her, she could have made you do all manner of things. You would have likely, you know, she said that you could offer protection. She likely would have taken protection. So be careful in the future. And she has this very haunted look on her face because she's been... Her discussion with that spirit and the fate is sticking with her, and her own outburst, her unplanned outburst that left the still bleeding, she hasn't healed it, cut on her chest is really freaking her out.
I think Fiat kind of leans in a little bit, or actually after we kind of once we disperse just a little bit, Fiat will
You're all
definitely
sort of like walking along in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
loose formation on the road. It's still a number of hours walk back. I assume you probably like camp out on this cliff for a little while, take a nap or something, and then start heading back.
So Fiat will definitely drop back or find an opportune moment and just say to Aolana, there is no need to go back to a prison created by those who do not understand you.
And she looks at the ground for a little bit and goes and says very shakily and very quietly, you know, I am afraid of what I managed today, both when I lost control and when I was in full control of myself. And I am also hungry for more of it. I don't think it's safe for others. I don't trust myself.
No one can know your limits, such as you can yourself. But there is always other paths. And she'll drop that.
Joy, I think the princess is gonna just sort of fall into step with you just because you're kind of being stolid and quiet, and you're kind of, I think, probably the most similar to the people that she's used to spending the most time with, just like soldiers of the rebellion.
Sure.
And she just sort of quietly falls into step next to you.
I think he'll like look over, like, really? Like not like offended, just like me. I think he'll like won't say anything for a few steps, and then I think he'll take his shield off and like hand it to her and say, "Put it on your back."
She
You never know.
kind of drops the much more tarnished and blood-covered shield she had taken from the Orlesian Guard. Says, rather have a Ferelden made shield anyhow. And
That's right.
smiles.
He'll let a smile crack through, but try to, remain as stoic as he can. Just considering the company.
Honestly, I know it's horrible. Everything that my people have gone through with the occupation. Sometimes I try to imagine what my life would have been like if it never happened. I'd just be in the palace in Denerim all the time. I would never get to see sunrise and the hinterlands. I wouldn't get to actually know my people. Not really. Is it selfish of me to think in some ways this is better? Only some ways.
I think he'll like let out one of those dad smiles. You know what I'm talking about. And he'll go, I don't think selfish would be the right word, but I don't know a better one. But I will say that perspective you have shows your wisdom beyond your years. That is a good thing to hold on to, considering the circumstance, and that will make you not a good queen one day, but a great one.
And she kind of smiles and blushes and ducks so her hair goes in front of her face a little bit, and then she looks back up at you. And something is subtly different. And she says, we remember you. You were close. Don't let your anger keep you from moving forward. You are stronger than that. And that is what will make you a great knight.
Joy will just say, as his heart races at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, as is mine, he'll just say, okay, I won't.
She smiles and turns away again, and the next time you look at her, she looks totally normal.
All right, Joy, just eyes forward, keep marching.
Joy's just doing the "this is fine" dog face.
Sweating bullets. Already a sweaty man. Now he is nervously sweating.
Oh, gross.
Is anyone else doing anything on the journey back to Redcliffe?
I think if we're pausing, I mean, Eva is writing furiously in her own journal. But other than that, that's about it.
Fiak is definitely watching Snowdrop pretty much all the time.
Snowdrop seems tired. More tired than usual. But she seems very happy. She kind of keeps padding along next to each of you, and you if she were not a Babari, I think you would get the sense that she's sort of like taking a look at things to very clearly remember them. You see her kind of run over and sniff things, and
If you kill this dog, I swear to God.
Man, who's cutting onions in here? This is my office/bedroom. Why are you cutting onions in here? That's inappropriate.
Yeah. So, you guys walk back, and in spite of everything, in spite of your wounds, in spite of a sleepless night, maybe it's just that you're doing it in the sunshine, but the way back seems so much easier than the way out. Things are still dark, but there's this sense that each of you feels that in both the literal and the metaphorical sense, a new day has dawned. Some weight has been lifted from your shoulders. You can't help but feel it. And you don't know necessarily where the sense is coming from, those of you that spend a lot of time interrogating your own emotions. You know, you can't really think why or what it is that you're feeling less anxious about, but your heart feels lighter. And in the afternoon, after several hours of walking, you come back onto the Redcliffe Road, and people start seeing you. You see the guards at the gate see the princess and kind of smile and snap to attention. Joy, I think people kind of clap you, especially on the back, just because you're the most likely to be sort of recognized, I think, by the rank and file. Eva, you as well. People have been like, you found her. Oh, thank the maker. And just smiles as you walk through the town and towards the dockside. That feeling that had been over the whole town just seems to lift in your wake. And you see Moira is just grinning from ear to ear. Progress through the town is slow, as everyone's kind of stopping to sort of look at her, and she, does some curtsies and shakes some hands, and everyone wants to know what happened. She goes, "Oh, well, you'll have to wait for my father to make a speech. You know how he loves his speeches." And kind of, I think Eva, you notice, even for what she's been through, she's handling it like a politician. Clearly she's been well trained. But yeah, you guys make it to the docks and begin to sail across.
Sail. Every time.
In the hall of Redcliffe Castle, there's a roaring fire. Moira is swept up into her father's arms. He's clearly delighted to see her. You see Arl Rendorn kind of breathing a sigh of relief, kind of like giving orders to call back in all the outriders they had sent out looking for Moira. All of you are, they listen to your story. If there's anything you want to leave out, you can leave out. Anything you want to make sure to emphasize, you can emphasize.
I feel like Ava will totally leave out the bit about the whole spirit entering the princess.
How do we handle the issue of how I came into your custody?
I'm a trusted rebel. I saw an opportunity and I took it.
You notice they don't ask a lot of questions about Aelana, despite the fact that she's pretty clearly a mage.
I literally think Eva goes, and then I met this mage, Aelana, and it's understood.
Yeah, I think both Eva and Joy, you both know that there are a couple of apostates low-key with the rebellion.
Yeah.
It's a bow.
There's an eye kept on them. Your friend in contact, for example, Joy. Like, some people know. It's not sort of an open secret. And a watch is kept on them. You are occasionally asked to keep watch, I think, on apostates, Joy, just because of your background. But I think there might be like, there are like 1 or 2 Templars in Redcliffe at the Chantry. But again, there's a peace. There's a certain truce, I think, active, and you see for a moment sort of a conflict on the king's face, but he thanks you, Aelana, along with the rest of the group. He says, "I can never repay you for returning my daughter to me. You have done the rebellion and Ferelden a great service. If there is anything that I can grant you as a reward, my power is not so great as perhaps it ought to be, but if it is within my power, you have only to name it."
Can I? I'm gonna make a test to see. Okay, nope. Fiac doesn't say anything.
Okay. Is anyone gonna ask the king for anything?
Go ahead.
Go first.
I think Eva would. I know that this might not yet be in your power, Your Highness, but my family's ancestral lands rightfully belong to me. I would see them returned.
Lady Morin, we are mounting an offensive in that general direction. Come spring, I would be honored if you would accept command of the battalion going to reclaim it.
I very much accept.
He inclines his head and says, "The lands are yours by right, and I would be delighted to visit you once again in the Morin home."
Let's hope for a swift victory then.
You see, Father, can I go with Lady Morin? You are staying right where you are, young lady. As Moira sits sort of back down. Would anyone else like to ask for anything?
As part, I think, of the Aelon is going to flesh out what exactly happened with her to the extent of when I was escorted out of the tower, it appears to have been under false pretenses by my original traveling companions. I would appreciate some sort of excuse for when I get back. I would, and she's just thinking, okay, I definitely want to like not be on my own and trusted by, with no one looking over me, but I definitely also don't want to be tranquil. So she's like just trying to make sure not just to have an escort back, but like an official path back in.
You see him kind of thinking over this, and he turns to the Arl, and the Arl says, "We could certainly speak to the revered mother at the Redcliffe Chantry. There are Templars there. We could potentially send one of them with you. I am uncertain how the Knight Commander or the Grand Enchanter would feel about this. We can write letters, but ultimately that is not something we can control. If you choose to stay, we can offer you some degree of protection, but you will have to agree to abide by the rules. Here, as well. The choice is yours. Kinlochhold is not Orlais, and it is not the Free Marches, but the Knight Commander has been known to be somewhat strict. We will send whatever escort and whatever reasoning we can with you, but I cannot guarantee your safety, madam."
This is not she was hoping it was going to be an easy answer, but afraid it wasn't. And so she just sort of said, she murmurs that she will think about it and thank you for the potential support.
And
But
the Arl
she doesn't really have a problem with rules, so.
The Arl, as you're walking away, says, "The Templars in the Redcliffe Chantry are good people. I've known them a long time. They would do their best for you." And he sort of smiles politely. Would anyone else like to ask the king for anything?
No. I think you're seeing the opposite of that. Fiak is trying to be invisible, which is hilarious because she's probably the tallest person in the room, and is doing the opposite of looming. That's it. We got nothing else.
All right, as you are preparing to leave, you see Moira kind of lean over and whisper in the king's ear, and Joy, as I think you guys are like served a meal and eat with the court and everything, and the king at one point comes up to you and he says, "My daughter has suggested that I offer you a promotion. Would you be willing to accept?
Heart once again racing a million miles an hour. Of course, my liege.
If you would prefer not to, you may say so, and I...
Merely caught off guard, sir.
You a guard.
Says,
Wow.
Anything for Ferelden.
very well. In that case, if you would take a knee.
Of course. He'll Joy will take a knee.
And the king solemnly draws his sword. And he says, "By the power of my right and my blood, I knight you, Sir Joyce Kent."
I think Joy will
Rise in
just
service of Ferelden.
will rise a little delayed. Not too much to make it awkward, but you can tell he's thinking about things and in feels, and he'll stand up and try to stay his stoic self.
The room is kind of quiet for a moment, and then you just see Moira just... and the rest of the room sort of, there's cheering and people toast to you. To all of you. Yeah. And the spring wears on. The rebellion begins to pack up from Redcliffe to move north, more into Ferelden. Where do we find each of you? Let's do a little epilogue round, unless there's anything anyone else wants to do first.
No.
I'm good.
Did it, maybe the Templars in Redcliffe mysteriously vanish?
Oh no.
After that, this is later in the spring, right?
Well, right, but if Aelana chooses to stay,
Oh, well, then they're still going to mysteriously vanish. The principle of the thing.
Amazing.
We'll have to roll for that.
All right, what am I rolling?
Well, why don't we, or I assume you're waiting until the army moves out from Redcliffe or Aelana makes some sort of decision before you decide what to do.
Yeah. I'm not about to mess with that decision. This is but are they? No. Some things do not stand. Yeah, so if Aelana goes with them, like she would definitely wait until after that. And after the army is getting ready to move out, like kind of during that process. Sometimes people disappear. It's a confusing thing. People are packing up. Sometimes you misplace your terrible jailers.
I mean, I think if those Templars are potentially going to disappear, you're potentially going to have Aelana tagging along because she's going to be a lost puppy again.
Okay, so so are you going with the Templars, I guess?
Well, so she's her options are go to King Lockhold and possibly get made tranquil if she can't effectively explain what the fact that she got smuggled out for as part of a plot.
If the Knight Captain doesn't believe you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or I stay in Redcliffe with those Templars watching over me.
Can we circle back to no, Templars are awful. They're the worst. They're like, we're going to take your soul now because we think you might be lying to us. You played hooky. Soul time!
It's true, but Aelana does not feel comfortable going off on her own as an apostate. So
that's fair. All right, so yeah, I guess so. Maybe one of them disappears mysteriously. How about that?
And then it becomes a detective series.
So Aolana, you're choosing to return to the circle?
I think, sorry, my cat has found a ping pong ball, of course. I think that she's going to eventually judge that as much as she would feel better in Keenlock Hold, she is too afraid that she can't explain sufficiently what happened. Sir Solen's death is weighing on her as well. So she ends up choosing to stay in Redcliffe, hoping that with time, perhaps she can figure out a better plan.
Yeah, I mean, the other option, you don't necessarily have to stay with Redcliffe. You can go with the rebellion, like with the rebel army. They've seen that you can be useful. So that is an option that is offered to you. There's particularly, yeah. So you're choosing to remain with the rebellion. I was just thinking about something, but I was like, no, that's too early. It's too early. That wouldn't have happened yet. Eventually Wilhelm will show up with Shale, but I think that's probably in about 10 years, yeah.
So, if that's the case, then I will retcon what I said before, because Aolana's got these Templars are only alive for one reason. They don't know it. Nobody knows it.
I'm just picturing Fiok like Batman style on top of the Redcliffe Chantry, like.
Fiok would actually return, basically see if Snowdrop wanted to return to Honleith.
You get the sense that Snowdrop is very content to remain with you.
All right.
You don't know how much more travel she's got in her, but she'll try. She's an old Mabari.
Onions. I think so. Yeah, Fiok's gonna stick around. She's got a little bit more time left before she has to make some important life decisions. But she will probably tag along with, I think, Eva and Joy. But I imagine disappearing for short little bits here and there for reasons.
I do have a question for you, Hopper, but we may circle back to this at the end. What are Eva and Joy getting up to?
I think that Eva sends off a missive at some point, given their adventures and detailing in full what happened. She gets that off to a contact to get further north.
I think maybe just like a day or two after this, we see another quick exchange between Eva and a beautiful yet eminently punchable elven man.
And then she's gonna join the campaign to get her family's old estates back, because that's gonna be helpful. Oh, and she also does include that in the report, like, we're gonna get ourselves a fun base.
Yeah. I think Joy, at some point before the spring, not sure when he'll feel comfortable doing it, but I think at some point he'll tell Eva and only Eva the like out of the fade possessed conversation he had with the spirits.
That got included in the report.
Yeah.
That would probably have to go, I think, in a later report. But yeah.
Sorry, bro.
He trusts his spy lady companion, but he will only mention that to her, I think.
Nice.
I think up until the campaign, he'll just do like night stuff and take orders and do whatever. And I think the only time he may request to do something specifically would be to probably go help Eva out in any capacity if she would need anything extra. But I think other than that, he'll just follow and take orders.
I think, if I may, I have a few suggestions just from the other side of the screen here. I think because there are a couple of apostates that are now sort of with the rebellion, I think, Joy, the command that you are offered is to do a sort of mixed magic and melee squad and like
Hell
train
yeah.
people.
Hell yeah.
This is something that the rebellion canonically does have later on, so Aelana, I think you would be offered a place with that.
Yeah, I think she would take it, and if
And
she would also quietly make herself make sure that Joy knows that if he ever wants to talk about what went down in the Fade, that she is around, because she remembers him asking also about what it was like living in the circle. So since he seems to
personal Fade therapist, perfect.
Yes.
So if that's the case, if Aelana sticks around and helps with that, I think at some point he'll also tell her that his parents were apostates, which is why he was asking so much about, or why he keeps asking so much about what life is like in the circle, because his parents would never tell him, and he was just curious.
Yeah, and she'll freely give all of the sort of non-classified,
Sure, yeah.
Won't tell him about what happens at fraternity meetings, but
well, yeah. Obviously.
Equitarian fraternity meetings are boring. Just so you know, Equitarians just go keep our heads down. I guess maybe they play limbo. I think that might be it, physically and morally. But yeah, and I think that, and also kind of just having an ongoing community over time does help Aelana feel a little bit more confident in her self-control once again.
Fiak, I think at about the same time, for a couple of nights in a row, you just hear a voice in your dreams. It just says, "The offer still stands, darling. I think we could make a pretty good team." And you just see an image of a statue on a little island in a little lake. You know where it is. You've seen it before around here in the hinterlands. I think it maybe caught your eye because it's a statue of an Avar figure. Cheered a bright axe, obviously.
Oh, I don't think Fiak will say anything, but she's gonna fucking obsess over this. Yeah, so I think especially after seeing that everybody else is kind of doing okay, she's also kind of obsessed. I think she's especially the longer stretches in between actual missions and combat and activity, you probably see her dive into periods of deep depression and just kind of like disappearing into the woods. And I think she actually comes to Eva at one point, kind of finally losing her shit over what happened in the Fade. And she asks Eva, "How hard would it be to have a mage killed in the tower?"
A mage in the tower? I think I know people that might be able to arrange that.
What would it take?
Nothing from you.
Question. I actually presume that it was Kinlock Hold. Is it Kinlock Hold?
Is what? Kinlock.
Where her wife is.
Yeah, almost certainly. Unless she was taken across the mountains and back into Orlais, but probably not. Kinlock Hold would be the closest.
There's a tranquil in Kinlock Hold.
You want a tranquil killed? I can arrange it.
I should have done it myself, but I was too scared.
What has a tranquil done to deserve such a fate?
Nothing. I would not leave her body to tether her soul here.
I'm just gonna do a quick little empathy check for my own. Oh, yep, that's 3 5s. And she just goes, I think I understand. I can reach out to some of my contacts and put in the request. And if they happen to be near, they may be able to do it. I will certainly get confirmation.
This is probably the most like distressed you've ever seen Fiak. She's not good. And she actually will attempt to hug Eva.
That will not be necessary. There.
There. Giant. She's like clearly.
I imagine like I'm hoisted off the ground. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
All right. You're welcome.
And after that, I think she. How long does this campaign run? Like the spring comes. How long is that?
I mean, it was starting to be. I'm imagining that you guys are leaving like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
After the events of this.
Yeah, I think she probably sticks around for a while, at the very least. We can leave it at that. All right, unless you want a more.
After those 3 days, the dream stops. Yeah, I think maybe the last thing that we see is the army beginning to move north, further into Ferelden. And as the sun shines over the moving ranks of the rebel army, there is a sense of hope. This war has been going on for a long time, and it may go on for a long while yet, but something has changed. Every, slightly underfed and badly shod soldier in this ragtag army has a better feeling of what they're fighting for than before. And as the wildflowers bloom in the fields around Lothering, Ferelden gives her children something worth fighting for. I think that's gonna be it. At least until we get another Dragon Age game, BioWare! Please, or I'll have to keep doing this.
Stop playing games with our hearts.
And let me play a game instead.
Yeah, watch us disintegrate. Yeah, this is gonna be fine.
I just need
Solus
to know
is
who the
fine,
next person to
everything's
fuck
fine.
me up will be.
Fuck me up, fam.
Fuck me up, Bioware. Here we go.
So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Warbler Wren, for all of your running commentary. That was delightful. Thank you to BioWare, obviously, and to all of my amazing players for bringing this story to life. Thank you so much. We'll just do a quick sign off here. I know it's a little on the late side. But yeah, check out all of the great Manapot programming below. If you're interested in joining us for any of our games, check out the Discord. We have lots of new exciting programming coming up on this show. Starting next week, I will be back on Happy Hour again, so come check that out for some hilarious D&D hijinks. We've got lots of other great shows. Again, yeah, full schedules below, and these fine folks will tell you a little more about it. Quick sign-offs. Let's go other way around. Wesley.
Gosh, I thought I had more time. I've been Wesley. So happy to be back on another flight of Fandom. It was a lot of fun. Nice to meet and play with Caitlin and Liza. And of course, Marcy and Hopper again.
That's fine. It could be an afterthought.
well, hit the new friends first, right? You can find me around the internet as Horniest Lobster.
Every time.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Don't have any other things or projects going on, but keep watching stuff here at Manapot. It's really fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hops.
I have been and will continue to be, regrettably, Hopper, aka Fail Deadly, aka the Legend Tree, and I've been playing Fiak, and I guess I'm gonna be the fuck around. You can't get rid of me that easy. I'm like a roach, baby. Nuke me. I'm not going away. So you're stuck with me. Sorry. I guess that's my whole pitch. I don't know. Come back and on the I believe that is the 6th to see which is a Sunday at 4:30 p.m. to see the finale of another short run show that is taking place in our normal Invisible Sun Hole in the World campaign slot, which is Hearthward Bound, which is where me and Marcy are playing adorable tiny animal familiars that are just trying to get back to their druids so they can rescue them. And it's to die for. But other than that, I guess shout out to check out Party of One podcast and All My Fantasy Children, because they're fucking great. And I'm super excited to be doing stuff in the near future with somebody adjacent to those, aka Jeff Stormer.
Wunderbar. Caitlin.
Thank you all for having me. This is one of my first tabletop experiences, really. I mean, I played a little bit of of D&D before this, but this has been a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad that Liza thought to drag me in.
Yay.
So great to have you.
As I mentioned at the top of the episode, you can find me on Twitter at CSEE_Starling. You can find out more about my books there. And to end off, I want to give a shout out to a project called the New Decameron Project that's been running on Patreon, which did 100 short stories for 100 days back when quarantine first got started. It has a great frame story too, written by Joe Walton. I have a story in there. Pretty much all your favorite sci-fi fantasy authors seem to have a story in there. I believe most of the content is still available for free. Also, donations go to help various charities actually over in Italy. So check that out.
And y'all do yourself a favor and go read Caitlin's books. They're great.
I promise they have slightly more hopeful character arcs than Aelana's. Although, I guess they're all pretty, they're pretty tragic too, but I'd like to end on a happy note. Sometimes minus a couple limbs. It's fine.
Yes.
Lifelong trauma, no biggie.
All right, and last but not least, team captain in the house.
What's up, y'all? I'm Marcy, aka Experimental Madness. Liza, thank you so much for running us through the lovely world of Dragon Age. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it again sometime in 2021. Uh,
We got so many
um,
more ages left to explore.
it's such a vast world, y'all. Never-ending stories. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up in December. December schedule is going to be a little bit different. We're doing a lot of like 2-shots and 1-shots that are going to have some special holiday themes. Stay tuned for social media to find out what's coming next week. But in the coming weeks, I know we have a very special Doctor Who Christmas special role-playing episodes that are in the works, and you won't want to miss that. And a few other surprises for you. I am actually going to be taking a bit of a hiatus through the month of December. I will miss you all, but I am eagerly excited to return to Flights of Fandom at the top of the new year. We're going to have so much exciting stuff and a return of some really fun favorites that we did over the course of this year, coming back for some sequels. So, hook up with us over Discord, hook up with us over Twitter. And if you want to play in some of the shows, if you want to run some shows, or you have a fandom that you really want to see on here, you should let us know, and we will make that happen. And that's all I've got for you tonight.
All right, well, thank you everyone for coming on this journey with us. Stick around for the raid, and until next time, Dareth Shiral.